What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and before we get into today's video, yesterday I mentioned this week's subscriber challenge, but I forgot to actually put it on screen, so here it is now, the CMP Priority Challenge, or the Charge Move Priority Challenge, and yes, that is a bit of a stupid name, but it's intentionally stupid, as you're prioritizing winning CMP. Now to find out more about the competition, you can visit a link in the description, and at the time of recording, there has still only been a single submission, so if you want the weekly subscriber challenges to continue, please give the challenge a try and submit your entry as soon as possible. Anyways, back to today's video, we have an interesting ABB style team with Shiny Shadow Shiftry and a level 51 Shiny Shadow Nuzleaf in the Scroll Cup. Now I'll be honest, with Foul Play getting a rework this season, I was going to include it in the title and the thumbnail for this video, but I literally did not throw a single Foul Play in any of the battles that I did with this Nuzleaf because basically anytime Leaf Blade was resisted, Foul Play was also resisted. If you think about Mandibuzz, Guzzlord, Drapion, Chestnut, etc., they're all going to resist both moves, and Leaf Blade is just a way better charge move, so I always threw the Leaf Blade. Similarly, because there are a lot of Pokemon that resist both Dark and Grass, I opted for Hurricane as coverage on my Shiftry as the Say Swap, which often wasn't quite enough to flip any bad matchups, but it did prevent my opponents from just farming me all the way down, which is definitely a bonus. Anyways, with that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. I'm sure you guys know I'm probably the biggest Charm hater out there. I even have a specific custom emoji to remind you guys that I hate Charm, but I want to know what is your opinion of Charm in the Scroll Cup meta. Obviously, a lot of the Pokemon are weak to Charm in this meta, but there are no stab Charm users, and often the typings of these Charm users kind of hold them back anyways, and the stat products, they're not that great. So do you think they're still as toxic as they are in other metas, or do you think actually they're kind of fun anti-meta picks that are going to be able to do some damage up against those Mandibuzz, those Annihilate, those Morpeko, those Pokemon that are super common, really annoying to deal with? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle, and we are literally facing someone called I Love ABB Team, so I hope you enjoy this battle. We are going to lead into Gastrodon, we're going to Say Swap into our Shiny Shadow Shiftry, and we're going straight for Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade does big damage there. They are just barely able to outpace me to their first Aerial Ace before we reach Leaf Blade number 2, but I realize if I shield there, I can reach 2 more Leaf Blades before the opponent can reach another charge move, or just fully commit to a full wing attack farm down. So at this point, Shiny Shadow Shiftry will be flipping switch advantage, or grabbing a shield advantage, and I'll happily take that shield advantage. We're going to come in with the Spiritomb. I'm going to no shield the first charge move here. The opponent's going to go and full send an Ice Beam, which does do more damage than an Aerial Ace, but it does not allow them to reach another move. We're now going to bank a Shadow Ball, come in with a Nuzleaf. They've got Morpeko in the back. They realize it's game over, so they just concede the match. So, GG's top on there, into the next battle, we're going to see a Toxapex in the lead. So the reason I'm running Spiritomb in the lead here is because I need a Pokemon that can deal with Toxapex, Mandibuzz, and Annihilate fairly well, and I think Spiritomb is that Pokemon. Anyways, the opponent goes for a Brian there. Honestly, maybe should have gone for a Rock Tomb a bit earlier there, but either way, we're going to go and fire off a Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball does big damage. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite put them into farm down range before they reach the next charge move. So what we're actually going to do, shield up the Brian, go for the Sucker Punch farm down, and let's see, the opponent's going to come in with a Sableye, so we're going straight for Rock Tomb here. Rock Tomb is going to grab a shield, debuff their attack. We swap into our Shiftry, and we're met with a Guzzlord, and this is where Hurricane is so important. Obviously, Guzzlord would typically completely wall the Shiftry, but Hurricane does huge damage. I'm also able to reach a Leaf Blade before they can farm me down. Leaf Blade grabs the final shield here, and at this point I'm thinking, you know what, they are so low, they're probably going to blind throw a charge move straight away, so we come in with the Nuzleaf. I'm risking that this is not a Sludge Bomb, and it's just a Dragon Claw. We can get the Razor Leaf farm down. We come out with a slight energy advantage here. The opponent did bank a charge move though when they came in with the Sableye, so we are now going to race to the charge move, and we get to the Leaf Blade just before they reach another charge move there. Leaf Blade is enough damage to take out the Sableye, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's top on there, into the next battle, we see a Shadow Quagsire in the lead. So, of course, we've got an ABB style team with 2 grass types in the back. We're going to be Say Swapping into the Shiftry, and we're met with a Toxapex, so not ideal. I also didn't throw it on the best timing there, so I give a full Poison Jab in for free, but I'm still able to reach a Leaf Blade and a Hurricane. Hurricane is going to do huge damage, but unfortunately just barely not enough damage to flip this matchup there. That is agonizingly close, but we're going to come in with the Spiritomb. I'm going to no-shield this move here. The opponent does go for a Brian. One Sucker Punch gets the KO. We come in with the Nuzleaf, and they've got Morpeko in the back. And I'm not messing around here, I'm just going to double shield my Nuzleaf. I realize that by the time the opponent makes it to a Charge Reef on their Quagsire, I'm probably going to have fully Razor Leaf farm them down at that point, so we're going to double shield here. These Orioles, they are resisted, but you will see in future battles, they still absolutely chunk these Pokemon. So we shield them up there, and of course, we're able to Razor Leaf farm down the Quagsire, and I'm able to take that game. Into next battle, another Mudboy in the lead. So again, we say swap into our Shift Tree, and we're met with a Mandibuzz. So again, going for the Hurricane, we throw on the CMP tie with an Aerial Ace here, and Hurricane does over 50% of their HP. At this point, we throw on CMP, so I'm happy to let the move go through. The opponent does undercharge that, but that allows me to reach a Leaf Blade. And Leaf Blade, it is resisted damage, but it's a very good move there. So what it does do is it puts them into farm down range for my Spiritomb. I'm going to no-shield the first move here. If they do make it to 2 moves, then I probably would shield the next one, but we can go for the Sucker Punch farm down, and let's see, the opponent's going to come in with a... They're going to come back in with the Gastrodon. Honestly, I probably should have gone for the Shadow Ball there and grabbed a shield from the opponent because I swap into my Nuzleaf and they're able to fully counter farm me down just before we reach a charge move there. They go for Rage Fist. I'm going to shield the first move. I need to farm them down here, but that's just not going to happen. So at this point, I'm going to no shield. Rage Fist, number 2, takes out the Spiritomb, and unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG's to opponent there. Into the next battle, we see Mantine in the lead. So of course, this is fine with me. I'm going to stay in with the Spiritomb. The opponent will outpace me to the first charge move, and it's a little bit tricky here just because if I do want to play out like the 1 or 2 shield scenario, then technically shielding the first move would be better. But we go for a Rock Tomb, and Rock Tomb is no shielded by the opponent. That's huge, as that puts them into perfect farm down range just before they reach the next charge move. We're going to swap into Shift Tree. The opponent banks the energy before swapping into Mandibuzz, and things are going perfectly. We can go straight for the Hurricane. Again, Hurricane does huge damage to the Mandibuzz, and we're able to reach the Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade is probably going to grab a shield at this point. No, it does not grab a shield, and that's just going to be game over. We can come in with the Spiritomb right now. We do not have a charge move. What I'm going to do is actually shield the first charge move, force the opponent to throw both of their Aerial Aces as soon as they can, because now we can just come in with the Nuzleaf. They're not going to reach a third Aerial Ace. We can go for a full Razor Leaf farm down, so the opponent swaps back into the Gastrodon. I can safely shield the first charge move here. They're not reaching back-to-back body slams either. We get the farm down. We can Razor Leaf, farm down the Mandibuzz, and the opponent loses that matchup with 2 shields still in play. So into the next battle, we're going to see Spiritomb into Mandibuzz. So of course, this is where we want to see it, although we have seen already that we're not too bad with our Shift Tree. We can deal a lot of damage. But anyways, going to go for the Rock Tomb straight away here. If the opponent does not go for that Aerial Ace immediately, then I'm happy to go for a Rock Tomb as soon as possible. Not going to throw on the best timing there, but I'm happy to debuff their attack. But they actually just clear the debuff immediately. They swap into a Shadow Drapion, so I'm going to shield the first charge move, fire off the Rock Tomb here, and then I will let the next move go through. Actually, no, never mind. We're going to swap into Shift Tree, assuming they've only got Crunch and Aquatel, and the opponent goes for a Crunch there, but we can go for the Snarl farm down, and let's see what the opponent wants to do. The opponent's going to come in with a Skuntank, and I am just barely able to reach a Hurricane. Hurricane is going to connect. It does huge damage. Now here I make a bit of a mistake. I should have come in with my Spiritomb there just because those Poison Jabs absolutely chunk. At this point, I'm just going to sacrifice the Nuzleaf, but honestly, they've still got 2 shields in play. I kind of need the Razor Leaf damage up against that Mandibuzz because these Sucker Punches, they're also resisted, and they're just not doing much damage. I can, of course, go for a Rock Tomb, debuff their attack here, but the Mandibuzz will reach another charge move, and by the time they do, unfortunately, even debuffed, whatever they throw here will be enough damage to take out the Spiritomb, and unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG's to the opponent there. Obviously, pretty tricky for my backline as the entire team just completely walls it. But we're going to see another Mandibuzz in the lead, and I do want to apologize. These battles are going to feel quite repetitive. Like, there's just no variation at all from my opponents in this cup here, apart from that one Shadow Swanna user that I faced in yesterday's video. But either way, we go for a Rock Tomb there. Rock Tomb does big damage. And again, probably should have shielded the first charge move here, but either way, I'm going to shield the next one as it's going to do less damage now. But either way, I want to maintain alignment or get this Mandibuzz into range where I can just farm them down anyways. So we go and fire off the Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb actually grabs a shield from the opponent. Now this point, I'm happy to let the Spiritomb go down. I'm hoping I've put them into Snarl farm down range here. It's going to be very close, but unfortunately, I haven't, so I have to throw my charge move here. And Leaf Blade is going to be shielded by the opponent. Mandibuzz had like 2 HP there. there, so they're actually able to get off their Aerial Ace. But if they're shielding their Mana Buzz at this point, they must be weak to the Shiftry in the back. They come in with more Pekko, and I can guarantee it's going to be a Gastrodon or a Quagsire in the back. We get the Razor Leaf farm down, and it is the Gastrodon. They're going to try and reach a Charge Beam. They do just barely make it to a Body Slam, but it doesn't really matter. Of course, Body Slam, not enough damage to get the KO there. Razor Leaf does take out the Gastrodon, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG to up on there. Into the next battle, we see Drapion in the lead. So, we're going to stay in this matchup, of course, resisting the Poison Sting damage, whilst I'm going to resist the Charge Move damage on my back two Pokemon. So, what we're going to do, shield the first Charge Move, fire off a Rock Tomb here. Rock Tomb is going to debuff their attack. So, at this point, I'm happy to let the next move go through here, as the opponent probably going to go for another Crunch. Crunch is going to be no-shielded, and they will reach an Aquatel on the CMP tie here, but we win CMP. So, we go for the Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb is going to connect, and at this point, I can let this go through. Of course, they are now double debuffed, and we put them into farm down range, but actually, we're going to swap into Shiftry. This is just going to be a resisted charge. I've seen both Aquatel and Crunch already. We can go for that Snarl farm down, and let's see what the opponent wants to do. The opponent is going to come in with a Mana Buzz. Again, a team that is double strong up against our backline so far. But we've got Hurricane. Hurricane does big damage. And again, able to reach a Leaf Blade. And again, Leaf Blade not going to do too much damage here. But every little damage does help in this matchup. We are now going to come in with the Nuzleaf. The opponent is going to throw their Charge Move straight away. And then what I will do, I believe they are 2 away from the next Aerial Ace. So we're going to go for 3 Razor Leaves, swap, catch the Charge Move onto my Spiritomb here. And I should now be able to go for a full Razor Leaf farm down. I'm predicting they've probably got Gastrodon in the back, but unfortunately the air slash damage is just too much here, and Razor Leaf doesn't quite get the farm down before they reach a Body Slam, and now unfortunately Body Slam will be taking out the Nuzleaf, and we do end up losing that game. But GG to opponent there. I believe I did not have the Best Buddy boost equipped at that point. So after that battle, I did then Best Buddy my Nuzleaf, thinking that maybe if we Best Buddied there, maybe we could have done like 1 more damage with each Razor Leaf and maybe get the farm down. But either way, into the next battle, we see a Primeape in the lead. We go for the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball is shielded. And at this point, I'm predicting the opponent probably just going to go for another Rage Fist here. So I'm actually going to no shield. It is the Rage Fist. And we're able to get a simultaneous KO there. So honestly, probably should have just gone for a Rock Tomb with my Spiritomb there, as it's pretty predictable that they were going to shield. But either way, they come in with Azumarill, and they're not swapping out either. So again, probably a team double weak to the Shiftry in the back. What we're going to do is shield the Charge Move, and then I will reach back-to-back Leaf Blades before they reach the next Ice Beam. So we're going to farm up to over back-to-back Leaf Blades here, fire off the first one. Leaf Blade number 1 is going to be no-shielded by the opponent, and they've got more Pekko in the back. So we can go for Leaf Blade straight away. Leaf Blade is going to be shielded by the opponent, but we're already at another Leaf Blade, and Leaf Blade is going to do big damage in this matchup. We're going to swap into the Spiritomb, 2 Sucker Punches, gets a snipe there, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG top on there. Into the next battle, we see a Kingdra in the lead. So, we're going to swap into our Shiftry straight away. Basically, the idea is, with an ABB style team, you swap into your backline if you don't see a really dominant matchup in the lead. And the opponent comes in with Breloom. They do not expect the Hurricane. I'm able to flip switch advantage. And at this one, I'm thinking, you know what? They've probably got like a Chestnut or something in the back there. Otherwise, why would you use Breloom? I mean, I did use Breloom in yesterday's video, but I did also discuss it's just not the greatest Pokemon ever. Either way, we're going to shield there. Unfortunately, they do get the debuff, so I swap back into my Spiritomb. I'm just hoping that they don't get another debuff here. And Octazooka does debuff our attack, and they've actually got Jellicent in the back, so I've made a big mistake there. We're going to go for a Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb is going to be shielded by the opponent. We debuff their attack, but they're actually going to farm up to back-to-back Surf. So at this point, I can't afford to shield this. They fire off the Surf immediately. We come in with a Nuzleaf, and honestly, I should just commit to a full farm down here. We go for the Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade, gonna be shielded, but you're gonna see this is gonna be an incredibly close matchup here. I'm gonna shield as they fire off the Surf, and the opponent's gonna swap back into Kingdra. We come out with 1 HP, but we weren't quite at the Charge Reave yet. If I didn't throw a Charge Reave there, honestly, I might have got off 1 more Razor Leaf up against that Jellicent, and that would have been enough to flip that matchup in my favor. But either way, GG's to opponent there. Into the next battle, we see a more Pekko in the lead. So once again, we say swap into Shiftry. You go for the Leaf Blade there, and the opponent going to fire off a Charge Reave just before we reach Leaf Blade number 2. Now, this time, I actually let the move go through here. as we did grab a shield advantage, so I'm happy to take that shield advantage, come in with the Spirit Team. I'm going to no shield once again. The opponent is going to go straight for an aerial ace, which is fine with me. We are now going to wait for the opponent to swap back into their Morpeko. I'm going straight for Rock Tomb here. Rock Tomb is going to be no shielded by the opponent. We then swap, catch the Charge Move onto my Shadow Nuzleaf, and the opponent goes for a Psychic Fangs there, which does not do much damage. Of course, it debuffs my defense, so if they come back in with the Mantine, unfortunately, these aerial aces, oh sorry, these wing attacks are seriously chunky. I'm going to shield the aerial ace. I will reach a Leaf Blade here just before they can farm me down. So Leaf Blade is going to be shielded by the opponent, so pretty clear. They must have a Mud Boy in the back, and they do, but it's going to be a Shadow Quagsire, which is great for me because, of course, much classier than the Gastrodon. Shadow Ball does big damage. They have limited fast move pressure, so I'm able to take out the Quagsire and take that game. So, GG's up on there into next battle. We see Annihilate in the lead. The opponent's going to say swap into a Blastoise. So we come in with the Nuzleaf, and the opponent has farmed up a ton of energy. I'm just going to respect the damage here. The opponent full sends a Skull Bash. I assume that probably would just take us out here. Now, honestly, I was waiting for the opponent to throw a Hydro Cannon so that I didn't give much farm away to the Annihilate, but the opponent didn't throw there, so probably committing to another Skull Bash, in which case I'd rather just get rid of them and rather than using both shields or actually just losing switch advantage. So we're going to come in with the Spirit Tomb here. The opponent goes for a Rage Fist, fine with me. They swap into Quagsire. We can come in with our Shift Tree, and honestly, I'm not confident that we can tank a Stone Edge that comfortably, so I just play it safe. I use my shield, I farm up to back-to-back Leaf Blades, and this game should now be over. Leaf Blade gonna be shielded by the opponent, but we've got back-to-back, so Leaf Blade number 2, of course, double super effective, easily gets the one-shot up against the Quagsire, and I'm able to reach a last-second Leaf Blade up against the Annihilate coming back in, and of course, Leaf Blade gets the KO there, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's up on there into the next battle. We see Spirit Team into another Annihilate. So again, where we want to see it, this time they're staying in with the Annihilate before swapping into a Toxapex. Now, unfortunately, 2 Pokemon that my backline is going to struggle against. We're going to go for the Rock Tomb there, debuffing their attack, and then I'm actually going to shield the first Charge Move here, just because I realize I can shield this, stay in until they reach another Charge Move, and then eventually swap to try and catch a Brine onto my Shadow Nuzleaf. I don't swap into Shift Tree just because I actually don't think I'll be able to Snarl Farm them down there, so that's still a bit risky, but we can come in, go for the Razor Leaf farm down. I'm hoping we can reach a Charge Move. We're not going to get there, but the opponent does throw a move anyways. They go for Rage Fist gets the KO there, but we've got quite a lot of energy on our Spirit Team, so I'm expecting the opponent probably going to shield here, so I go for a bait with the Rock Tomb, but the opponent no shields. Huge call on the opponent's end. Now we have to go for another Rock Tomb, wasting so much energy, and the opponent's going to have a Morpeko in the back, so we're going to swap, catch the Charge Leaf onto my Shift Tree, but you're going to see Aura Will does massive damage there, and I'm actually not going to be able to reach 2 Charge Moves up against this Morpeko now. That is really embarrassing. You can see, obviously, I don't have the best IVs on my Shadow Shift Tree, but still, that is just super embarrassing, and that's kind of busted from Morpeko. I can't lie. Morpeko probably does need a slight nerf to Aura Will's damage, maybe make it 90 damage or something like that, because 100 damage for a guaranteed boost each time is just ridiculous. But either way, GG's to that opponent there. Into the next battle, we're going to see Mantine in the lead. So again, going to no-shield the first Charge Move here. They go for an aerial ace, which is fine with me. We can fire off the Rock Tomb straight away here, and Rock Tomb, of course, going to debuff their attack. They're going to shield the first Charge Move, and at this point I'm thinking they might have Annihilate and Gastrodon in the back, so I'm actually going to shield this as I need to preserve some health on my Spirit Team. The opponent swaps into Gastrodon. That's huge for me. We can just come in with the Shadow Nuzleaf. I can no-shield this Charge Move as the opponent does fire off a Body Slam. We get the Razor Leaf farm down, and the opponent's going to come back in with the Mantine. We can reach a Leaf Blade here. Leaf Blade is going to grab the final shield from the opponent, and at this point I'm going to come in with my Spirit Team, and I'm actually just going to shield because I'm still predicting Annihilate in the back, so we're going to come in with the Spirit Team. I'm not going to throw my energy here, instead shield up the Charge Move. The opponent goes for the Ice Beam there, and they come in with Annihilate, so of course we've now got the Shadow Ball loaded. Shadow Ball easily gets the one shot there. We can go for a Sucker Punch farm down, taking out the Mantine, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG to up in there into the next battle. We see Gastrodon in the lead once again. So, once again, safe swapping into our Shift Tree, and again, baiting out a Mandibuzz. So, again, we're going to try and throw on the CMP type with the Aerial Ace, and Hurricane will be coming through. Hurricane is going to be no-shielded, and again, it does about just over 50% of their HP. I'm going to no shield. The opponent does not undercharge this time around, which is fine with me. We can come in with our Spiritomb, waiting out the switch clock here, and the opponent will outpace me to this next charge move, but that's okay. I'm going to shield this up here just because I can now overfarm massively. I realize they're probably going to full send a Dark Pulse there, which actually do quite a lot of damage. We can now go for the Rock Tomb after farming up to 100 energy. Rock Tomb is eventually going to get the KO there. They're going to come in with Azumarill, and this is absolutely fine with me. We can go straight for Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball is going to connect. It's going to do big damage, and the opponent is going to overfarm here, and I'm allowed to reach another charge move. So Rock Tomb probably going to be shielded at this point. At this point, I realize I just stay in with the Spiritomb, wait for them to throw a charge move, and this game is absolutely over. We can now come in with the Nuzleaf. Razor Leaf dealing super effective damage, now dealing double super effective damage, and again, we can just safely no shield the Body Slam here. Body Slam not going to do too much damage here, and just in case the opponent does reach a charge move on the Azumarill, we save our shield, but we get the Razor Leaf farm down, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's top end there into the next battle to see Jellicent in the lead. So, of course, great lead and just great for my entire team. But they say swap into a Charmbrion. So, bit of a misplay on my end coming in with the Shift Tree here because I just didn't expect it to be a Charmbrion. I just swapped out instantly, seeing the typing. And yeah, of course, we grab a shield advantage. We can now come in with the Nuzleaf. And these Razor Leafs are, of course, going to be hitting for super effective damage. We are dealing ever so slightly more damage than they're dealing to us. But it's still a very close matchup there. We get the Razor Leaf farm down. They come back in with the Jellicent, and I'm going to overfarm, expecting the opponent to probably just shield this up, but the opponent lets that go through, and they've got more Pekko in the back, and actually me overfarming there is a huge misplay because now, unfortunately, we're way too low. I can shield the first charge move here. They go for an Aura Wheel, of course, boosting up their attack. We're going to debuff it straight away, but it just doesn't matter at this point. Rock Tomb, going to be shielded. We're going to take neutral damage from the Dark typing. They actually farm up quite a lot anyways, so it doesn't really matter. Aura Wheel easily takes us out there. I believe they're one away from another charge move. They could have just Thundershock farmed us down, but they play it safe. They go for another Aura Wheel, easily taking out the Nuzleaf, and unfortunately we do lose that game. But GG's up in there into the final battle of this video, leading into a Toxapex. We're going to stay in this matchup, and we're actually going to go for a Rock Tomb straight away this time around. So Rock Tomb, of course, not going to be enough damage to put them into farm down range, but that's fine with me. I do debuff their attack, meaning this is going to do less damage, and they actually go for a Sludge Wave, which is actually going to do more damage than a Brine, but still, I don't really know why they go for that, because now I can overfarm by a couple of Sucker Punches. Rock Tomb gets the KO there, and they come in with a Mandibuzz. Of course, not really ideal, but if they do let this Rock Tomb go through, that would be very huge for me, and the opponent does no shield there, so now we can come in with the Shift Tree. I'm of course going to shield this, but they are debuffed, and they're going to go for an Aerial Ace. I'm going to farm up to back-to-back Leaf Blades here before throwing. So Leaf Blade is going to be shielded, and at this point I realize they must have a Gastrodon in the back, so I'm also going to shield. I'm going to be able to reach 2 more Leaf Blades now before the opponent reaches their next Aerial Ace. So we go for Leaf Blade number 1. Leaf Blade going to be grabbing the final shield from the opponent, and we can reach another Leaf Blade here before they do farm me down. Leaf Blade puts them incredibly low. I'm going to come in with my Spiritomb, force the opponent to throw their energy straight away, and this game should be over as long as it is the Pokemon I'm predicting. We get the Razor Leaf farm down, and there it is, another Gastrodon. The opponent gonna concede the match, and I'm able to take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And if you want to take your support even further, you can now become a channel member with perks including early access to new videos, shoutouts at the end of each video, custom loyalty badges, and custom emojis to use in the comments. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has already become a channel member. Your support is greatly appreciated, and with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.